A racist Karen tried to bully a black man, but not only he turned out to be the Hollywood legend Eddie Murphy, but also the owner of the airlines. Before we get started, subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. The cabin of Phoenix Airlines Flight 407 hummed with the soft clink of champagne flutes and the murmur of first-class privilege. Leather seats glowed under recessed lighting, while economy passengers craned their necks to glimpse the divide, a velvet rope separating silk from static. In seat 1A, Eddie Murphy slouched low, his face hidden behind oversized sunglasses and a hoodie pulled snug. To the flight crew, he was a cipher. No entourage, no flashy watch, just a man in a $10 billion company's crown jewel seat. A lottery winner, the captain speculated. Or a hacker, thought the co-pilot, eyeing Eddie's scuffed sneakers. Eddie sipped his tepid ginger ale, tuning out the whispers. He'd chosen the disguise deliberately, a test. Phoenix's slogan, "We rise together," felt ironic when its staff treated economy like a contagion. He'd upgraded 3 passengers himself that morning, watching their gratitude curdle into anxiety. Would their betters notice? The flight attendant, Carol, approached, her smile as polished as her acrylic nails. She'd already skipped his row twice. Eddie straightened, bracing for impact. Carol breezed past Eddie again, distributing flutes of champagne to the silver-haired magnate in 1B and the socialite in 1C. When she finally turned to him, her smile thinned. "Still waiting on that ginger ale, sir?" Eddie nodded. "Appreciate it." She returned minutes later with a glass half filled with melting ice, watered-down syrup, and a napkin stained with lipstick. "We're out of ginger ale," she lied, tilting the glass so he'd see the sludge. "But here's what the economy folks are having." The man in 1B snorted. Eddie took the glass, his fingers brushing hers, accidentally, as she let go. Ice cubes cascaded down his shirt. "Oops, clumsy me." Carol's laugh was all veneer. Eddie dabbed his chest with the napkin, studying her. "Guess I'm the cool one now." The cabin chuckled. Carol's smirk tightened. "Let me know if you need anything else." She lingered, eyes flicking to his hoodie. "Not a Rolex man," her posture said. "Not one of us." Dinner service began. Carol reappeared with a tray of seared salmon and truffle mashed potatoes for 1B and 1C. When she reached Eddie, she paused, then slid a bag of peanuts onto his tray. "Chef's special," she chirped. "We ran out of everything else." Eddie's jaw tightened. He stared at the peanuts, then up at her. "You sure? Looks like the special is just for me." Carol leaned in, voice dripping with faux concern. "Oh, honey, maybe stick to what you can afford." She flicked a glance at his hoodie. "This section's for people who dress the part." The cabin went quiet. The socialite in 1C hid a smirk. Eddie's fingers dug into the armrest. "Breathe," he told himself. "Not yet." He pulled a napkin from his tray and scribbled, "Need water. Or a new career." He left it face down as Carol snatched the peanuts back. "Changed your mind? Too bad." By dessert, she'd forgotten him entirely. When he asked for a blanket, she snapped, "You'll get yours when I get to it." Her tone carried a challenge. "Dare you to make a scene." Eddie's reflection glared in the window. Phoenix's "Rising Together" slogan, he thought. Rotten wings. Carol's laughter cut through the cabin as she snatched a stuffed giraffe from a wide-eyed boy in economy. "This isn't a daycare," she hissed, holding the toy just out of his reach. "Pay for extra baggage next time." Eddie stood abruptly, his seatbelt clinking. "Give the kid his toy back." Carol turned, eyes narrowing. "Stay in your seat, Morgan Freeman," she sneered, tossing the giraffe into the aisle. "You're not the—" The cabin froze. The boy's mother gasped. Eddie's pen snapped in his fist, ink bleeding across his palm. Last straw. Eddie stepped into the aisle, his frame eclipsing Carol's. The cabin's hum died. He loomed, sunglasses still shielding his eyes, and plucked the giraffe from the floor. "Funny," he said, voice low but carrying. "You ever think the joke's on you?" Carol opened her mouth, but Eddie pressed a finger to her name tag. Carol, lead attendant, and smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. You've been serving exactly the wrong person. The socialite in 1C dropped her champagne flute. It shattered. Eddie reached into his hoodie pocket and withdrew a sleek silver card. He flipped it onto Carol's tray. Phoenix Airlines. Owner's Pass. Eddie Murphy. Founder and CEO. The cabin collectively inhaled. The socialite in 1C choked on her champagne. Carol's face drained of color. You, she stammered, eyes darting to the card, then his face. I didn't. Eddie leaned in, voice steel wrapped in velvet. You mocked a man for his seat. Now you're fired for yours. He nodded to the terrified steward hovering nearby. Escort her to HR. And send a ginger ale to 1A. Carol's hands trembled. The steward hesitated, then gripped her arm. Come with me, Carol. As they passed the economy seats, the boy's mother thrust the giraffe into Eddie's hands. Thank you, she whispered. Eddie knelt, handing it back to the child. Phoenix flies higher now, he said, loud enough for all to hear. No more us and them. Just us. The passengers erupted, not in applause yet, but in murmurs of awe. Carol's career crumbled mid-aisle, her acrylic nails clicking against the armrests like a dying metronome. Eddie turned to the cabin, his voice steady but resonant. Let's clarify something. Phoenix Airlines isn't a velvet rope. It's a promise to everyone who flies with us. He held up Carol's crumpled name tag. Kindness isn't optional. Not for passengers. Especially not for those who serve them. The socialite in 1C shrank into her seat. The magnate in 1B stared at his empty champagne flute. Security arrived, flanking Carol. She gripped her tray, voice trembling. I didn't know. You didn't look, Eddie cut in. That's the problem. You saw a hoodie, not a human. A seat, not a story. He nodded to the guards. Escort her to HR. And tell them to audit every crew member's passenger logs. Starting today. As Carol was led away, her acrylic nails scraped the aisle carpet. The boy in economy clutched his giraffe, eyes wide. Eddie crouched beside him. Phoenix flies higher now, he said, loud enough for all to hear. No more us and them. Just us. The cabin erupted, not in applause, but in a visceral collective exhale. A man in economy whistled. The socialite wiped her eyes. Carol's protests echoed down the jet bridge. You can't do this. Do you know who I am? Eddie's gaze followed her. No, he murmured. And that's the point. 3 months later, Phoenix Airlines' new ad campaign dominated Times Square. A black flight attendant helping an elderly passenger, a hijab-clad woman laughing with a toddler, Eddie himself shaking hands with baggage handlers. The tagline glowed, Phoenix Airlines, we fly higher together. In a conference room, Eddie stood before new recruits, his hoodie replaced with a tailored blazer. Kindness isn't a policy, he said, projecting the owner's pass on the screen. It's the engine. You think my story's unique? Every day, someone's underestimated. Your job. See them. Afterward, a young attendant lingered. Sir, she asked, clutching her badge. The giraffe. I mean, the boy on Flight 407. He's my nephew. Thank you. Eddie smiled. Phoenix's doors are wide open. Keep 'em that way. At the gate, a child pointed at his badge. You're Eddie Murphy. Eddie knelt, handing him a Phoenix pin. Yep. And you're sitting in my first class. So smile. The boy beamed. Behind him, the Phoenix logo gleamed on the fuselage, a bird reborn, wings stretching toward a clearer sky. Have you ever experienced a moment where someone tried to silence your voice? Share your experience in the comments. If you enjoyed this and want more content on inspiring Black stories channel like this, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and remember, real courage is not fearing the consequences, but prioritizing justice over comfort.